are live on Facebook and we're gonna start. So welcome everybody to our one more backpack series. And today I wanna introduce myself. My name is Vanessa Pollack and I'm a parent consultant with the Connecticut Parent Center. And for those who doesn't know who we are Parents Training Information Center for the state of Connecticut. And by law, every state needs to have a PTI. We are one of them, and we are for the Connecticut. Our mission is to empower family and children with disability and developmental delay, age 0 to 26, and professionals who serve them. We provide telephone consultation, training, and programs, and our goal is for parents to become their child's best advocate, giving the tools for them that they need to support their children. Today's training is how to understand, teach, and validate the children's emotion. And our presenter is Bethanne. And welcome again, Bethanne. It's very nice to have you again. If you want to introduce yourself. And if anybody have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand. We love you all to participate it. Just remember that we are live to keep, personal names or kids' names out of the information. And welcome, Bethanne. And if anybody needs interpretation, let me know. I don't see the interpreter here yet, but.
So I'm actually, hi, everybody. I am actually going to switch my PowerPoint so that we could have the Spanish. So I'm going to stop share for 1 second. Close this one and then open the translated one. So then that everybody can see the translated one. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so can everybody see our PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yay. So welcome everybody. Happy July. It's hot out there, July. And what a great way to spend in the air conditioning than hang out with us. So today we're going to talk about how to understand, teach, and validate children's emotions. And I don't see our Spanish translator. So each slide does have the translation. I just want to double check if she's on. Do you see her, Vanessa?
No.
Okay. That's okay. We will go with it. And what we can do is we'll share the PowerPoint afterwards if you needed the translation. Does that sound good to everybody? Big thumbs up. Okay, perfect. So if this is your first time joining us or you've been joining us, Connecticut has an amazing partnership called the Connecticut Pyramid Partnership. So our focus in Connecticut is to implement the pyramid model, which is a model that supports social emotional competence in infants and young children. And it develops a positive intervention and support framework for parents and providers. Our state, this project is funded by our Connecticut Office of Early Childhood. And so I'd say like a year and a half ago, we decided to do what we call a backpack series, which I kind of will explain at the end of the training what the backpack looks like, and I'll be able to share it with everyone. So the pyramid model uses an evidence-based practice and it's a public health approach to building positive relationships with children's families and even your colleagues. Also developing supportive and nurturing environments, and then providing individual supports to address persistent and challenging behaviors when needed. So this model supports families. And so this is why we've done this series every month. And we see more and more actual childcare providers joining the training. So every month we do we focus on one topic. And this topic actually aligns with a newsletter that the Office of Early Childhood sends out on a monthly basis. Lisa Swain, who develops the newsletter, is on. And so if you're interested in getting the newsletter and you've never gotten it, put your email in the chat box and we'll make sure you guys get a copy of it. So each month our backpack series aligns with the newsletter that Lisa puts together. Lisa, do you want to just unmute yourself really quick and just tell everyone?
Yes. Hi, everyone. We are so happy you're joining us today. Bethanne does a phenomenal job at these monthly webinars, and we are always looking for ways to support families and family child care providers. So if there's a topic that you would love to get more information on, you can put that in the chat too, and we will try to get that into our next few months of newsletters. We can also send you information anytime you want.
Yeah, so definitely put your email address in the chat and we'll make sure that you get on the list for us to send the newsletter to you.
And I'll put the Connecticut Pyramid email in the chat, Bethanne, in case anyone has something.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, thanks.
No, thank you, Lisa. We explore many ways that we want to get information out throughout the state to providers and families about the importance of social emotional development. We actually, when we started this a year and a half ago, it was more of a, just a quick 35-minute training on different things that the pyramid model offers. And it's kind of just expanded so much, aligning with our newsletter. And then we know the impact that is on families and childcare providers right now around children's lack of social emotional development. And some children's may be delayed in that social emotional development due to COVID. And many other risk factors. So we want to be able to share this information as much as possible. And also too, if you want to learn more about that, the pyramid, Lisa's putting the email address in the chat and we can share that information with you. So this is one of my favorite topics. I think I say that every month, but I started training on the pyramid model probably like 17 years ago. I know, don't look like that would be 17 years ago, but it is. And then I had a child, and then I was like, wow, I get a lot more of this content now than I did before. I always feel like you can be so knowledgeable about early childhood development. And then when you have your own child, it's just so way different. And I will share that this topic is my favorite is because teaching young children how to expand their emotional vocabulary by teaching them different words is probably a big struggle. We know that because some children can't express themselves, what do instead of expressing themselves? They may hit you, they may throw toys, they may throw themselves on the ground. They get frustrated because they're not able to express themselves. So this talk today, we're going to explore different ways that you can help children label their feelings and then feelings of others as well. Any questions as we go along, you can unmute yourself or even throw a question in the chat. I love this picture because sometimes I feel like we're all hanging from the side of a table when we're having a rough day. So when someone's saying you're having a really bad day and then they look at you and, instantly you feel like your problems are solved. If someone says to you, oh, just smile and that problem is solved. So we know that's not really right. So you feel like that you feel like telling that a person where to go, roll your eyes, or perhaps even use an unkind gesture. So we know that when we're having a bad day, we need to figure out a way to express ourselves. So as adults, that happens to us. I know that yesterday I was caught in an accident. I wasn't in an accident, but there was an accident on the highway and I was literally there forever. And I probably had some choice words. So it doesn't matter what age we are. We all have frustrations. We all have a bad day. And sometimes someone say to us, buck up, you'll be fine. And that doesn't always make us feel better. So the trick, yep.
I think I just see the translator lady here.
Yes, hello, I'm Lady Ann. I'll be the interpreter if you can assign me whenever you're ready. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
So if you need translation, you can switch over to the Spanish channel and get the translation. So I'll just give her a minute.
She's already there. Just send her to the channel. So if you need translation, just go on the little globe, choose Spanish, and she's right there. Just remember, Bethanne, just go slow now, because then she's translating
Yeah.
everything you say. Thank you.
You're welcome. The trick is to show empathy and understanding of another person's feelings. So a child showing empathy is the first step in helping them learn how to have empathy for other people. So as adults, we model, older children model for young children on how to show empathy. So if we have, my husband's upset about something, he comes home from work and he's in a bad mood. And so I say, well, what happened today? I'm really sorry to hear that you had a bad day. So modeling words for young children is how they pick up those skills. This comes from the idea of an idea of being able to honor a child-sized problem. This could be having to stop the tablet in the middle of a show or animal crackers falling on the floor. Those are the best examples I can think about that really sets children off. We know that if we just walked up to the TV and changed this, channel to something else, what's going to happen? I think about it as an adult is, have you ever had food drop on the floor? Like I once had made a pie for Thanksgiving and I pulled it out of the oven and the whole thing dropped. And did I cry? Yes. When we are caregivers, we can express to children our empathy for their feelings. We can help them learn and grow from these challenging experiences. Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. Labeling these emotions and what we see or hear as results helps teach children about their own feelings. So if they drop, sorry, if they are in the middle of something and they either drop what they're eating or they are playing with, say, blocks and everything falls over, what do most young children typically do? They freak out and through frustration. Many children are also versed in 3 feelings: happy, mad, and sad. Would you all agree? There's no other emotions that most children know of. So if these are the only feelings that they know, then these are the only feelings they can choose from when they become unregulated. So we as adults and as caregivers and as parents, we want to broaden this menu of feelings by being able to choose and identify with different emotions. So if you ask a small child what their favorite restaurant is, or what their favorite food is, a common response would be chicken nuggets, French fries, ice cream. But we can help our children expand this menu by letting them know there are more choices. So there's more choices of chicken nuggets and French fries. There's also yogurt, apples, and our favorite vegetables. Once they know there are more options, then they start to make new choices. The same is true for feelings. So once a child is able to expand their option menu or their vocabulary, they can start to feel emotions beyond that happy, mad, and sad. So we have to build them a menu of other options. So how do we teach this? There are many ways to teach feelings. So we can start being open and talking about feelings. We can do it all day long, talk about those feelings that we refer as those icky feelings. But I would never refer to any feeling being a bad feeling, because we want children to know that it's okay to feel different ways. So we give them that vocabulary, but we start modeling that vocabulary. So I feel frustrated. So those, I spilled over all my blocks. So I'm mad and I'm frustrated because everything I just built, I have to redo again. So we just have to replace some of those words with, or actually you're feeling frustrated because you built this beautiful blocks and then it got knocked down. So you're mad that they got knocked down and frustrated that you have to build them back up. Another great way to teach about those different emotions is to have visuals. So the pyramid model, and I'll give everyone the links to those emotion faces, is those emotion faces you can hang up in your classroom, you can hang them up at home on the refrigerator, or anywhere that children can see it. So you're identifying that. So when I dropped the pie at Thanksgiving that came out of the oven, and my child was right there. And of course I wanted to say some choice words, but I couldn't. So instead I was like, I'm so angry. This was our dessert for Thanksgiving dinner and now it's gone. So teaching them the different words of what our emotions look like. And then also you can replace those happy, say you're excited, you're excited, you're oh my gosh, I just lost my thought. So taking away that menu of happy, mad, sad, but replacing them with other words that we know are emotions. I'm confused on why we're having fish for dinner instead of chicken nuggets. So replacing all those words. So that's the best way, is to use simple everyday activities that you're doing and changing up those words. I would like chicken nuggets more than fish for dinner, so I kind of have to agree with them. Other great ways, I think this is the best way to teach young children, is through books. I always say that if you take a book that you want to teach a child about anything, like today we're talking about emotions, is you read it every day for a week. Because then as you're reading it, the child is building up the experience of the book and also building up the idea of what we're teaching them. So we're teaching them about a book. So a really good one is My Many Colored Days, which is all about the character feeling different feelings. And so there's a perfect example of showing the child different emotions that someone can feel. It's a great Dr. Seuss book, and it's good for kids ages 3 to 8. So whether it's you're visiting the library and trying to find ways to share about emotions, definitely the books are the best way to go. Another one, which is one of my favorites, is Today I Feel Silly and Other Moods That Make My Day. And that book is by, oh my gosh, what is her name? She's an actress. It'll come to
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes, that is a great book. So I always say, read the book a good, 5 days in a row. And by the third day, the child is reading the book with you and pointing out and identifying the different emotions that the character is feeling. If we think of as adults, how many times do we have to read a recipe until we remember it, right? So I don't know about you, but I don't have photographic memory. So if I'm reading a recipe, I have to go back to it. I still have to look up how to make homemade pancakes. So that shows you my photographic memory. So if we're reviewing something over and over and over, the child is going to pick it up just like as adults, unless you have that great photographic memory. Social stories, as I always say, go to the library, pull books. They're great ways to help children learn ways to behave in certain situations. And the stories are called social stories because the narrative is all about a social situation, and it's story-based interventions. And it gives the child a focused idea on what the character is trying to say. So on My Different Colored Days, the character is sharing about the different emotions that they're feeling each day. There's so many great books on feelings, problem solving, any type of social emotional development you're trying to teach children. Pull those books, and it really does help in guiding them about the different topics that we want to teach them. So earlier, I talked about the actual backpack, so what our training comes from, and I will put the link in the chat. And this link brings you to all different information that you can talk about with families, you as a parent, gives you tips to try things at home. There's a practice at school piece, and it's all about different topics around social emotional development. So this one that I'm sharing right here is how to help your child recognize and understand jealousy. So it's a great 1-page tip sheet. So if you're an early childhood provider and you have you're working in a center, you can print these out and send them home with families, or you can PDF them and email them to families as well. So it's a great way to share information. And they have every topic that you could possibly want. So if you've never been on with us on our monthly series, they have like emotions, anger, problem solving, routines, transitions, you name it. Each of them have the topics. Always remember, behavior is a form of communication. So if a child is having a behavior, even us as adults, we're trying to say something. So when I dropped the pie and I was so angry, I'm letting you know that I'm upset because I dropped the pie. So I'm communicating that something really made me upset. Young children are the same exact way. It's a way that they're trying to let us know something. I'm going to put this link in the chat so then that I can share. Oh, actually, let's see if you're able to see. Can everyone see my screen? Vanessa, can you see the website?
I see the website link.
Oh, good, good. So this is the family engagement website, and I'll put the link in the chat. But if you go through resources, so making life easier, there's all different, I don't know why this looks blurry, but there's all different tip sheets, bedtime and nap time. Nap time was my favorite.
We don't see that, Bethanne. We just see the link.
Oh, you just see the, okay, hold on.
PowerPoint.
Stop share. Let me share again. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you saw it. Okay, you should see it now.
Yes.
Okay, so here's a section called Making Life Easier. And then there's all resources. So bedtime, nap time, and they come in multiple different languages. That's the other great thing. Diapering. So these are all for families. That one's in Chinese, Spanish, going to the doctor or the dentist. So these are all just different tip sheets for parents and providers. And here is the backpack that I just talked about. So how to help your child stop whining. And that comes in multiple languages too. So you just click on it and then you're able to download as the PDF. You can print it out. You can email it to somebody. So again, there's all different topics that you can, I don't know what's going on with this website today, but it's looking weird. But it comes in 4 different sections: addressing behavior, emotions, routines and schedules, and then social skills. So those are the 4 areas that they focus on. There's also the scripted stories that I talked about, how those are important. You can download them. My favorite, Cleaning Up My Toys. I have a 10-year-old. Maybe that book might work someday. Going to school, about brushing your teeth. So again, these are all different social stories that you can use with families, and you can download them. Some of them come on PDF, and you can like add things that you want to add. Like maybe there's a page you want to add that is specific to a child. And then teaching social emotional skills, all about schedules, routines, and transitions. We all know that August isn't too far away. I hate to jinx it. And then there's a section on general resources. So let me go back to my PowerPoint.
Anyone has any questions?
Oh, yep. And then here is the link. Sorry, I will put the link in. And then I also want to share, I don't know if anyone on the call today has ever heard of Sparkler, but they have a great podcast. I recommend this to anybody, even if you're driving in the car going to the store. They're only 20 minutes long. So they're Little Kids Big Heart podcast, and it helps parents and educators introduce topics in social emotional learning. So I can actually, let me just share my volume. Okay.
We could hear it, the little music.
Hi, my name is Sam, and you're listening to the Little Kids Big Hearts podcast, where kids lead the discussion. Here's your host, Todd Lloyd.
Thank you, Sam. Today, we're going to talk about anger, what it is, how it makes us feel, and what we do about it. To start us off, we talked with some experts, some little kids with big hearts, about anger. Have a listen.
If my anger was an instrument, it would be a drum. It would probably be the drums, because I play the drums, and that is the noise that's very loud, so it sounds like anger. And when I think of anger, I think of a wolverine, because those are animals that they can easily trick people and other animals too, and they're good hunters. My anger was an animal. It would be a lion. A lion. When I get angry, I feel it most in my head because my head gets red and angry. When I feel angry, I feel it in my heart.
So this is, I recommend this. You can, if you're in a classroom, again, if you're driving in the car, they're about 20 minutes long. And they're just so good. They have different topics like angers and feelings, sharing. So you can download the podcast on Apple and Android. And then also they have a website, Big Heart, Big Kids podcast through Sparkler Learning. I love it. They're just amazing to play for kids. And then what I love about it the most is, if you heard, it's mostly the kids talking about things. So those kids were 5 and they're talking about, if I was an animal and what animal would I be if I was angry? And the one little girl's like a lion, and one kid's like drums. So it's a great podcast. So I recommend it. So that's my slides, and this is our time to go through and answer any questions or any situations that you're having about teaching these emotions, our emotion menu, as I would call it. Please unmute, chime in, have any thoughts.
Anyone would like to share my experience?
Yeah, I will say, Vanessa, at even having a 10-year-old, I need an emotion menu.
Me too. I need for teenagers.
Yeah, I think it's a skill that we all need to learn, as just from the youngest till teenagers, being able to express ourselves. But I do love it is expanding a menu that they already know.
Any ideas or tips for kids that are nonverbal, how to teach them, or how can we show them to show us for they understood the emotions? The only one that I know is the little pictures.
Yeah.
But do you have any ideas or suggestions for kids that are nonverbal?
Yeah, so you can actually take those same pictures, and you can find them. I'll look it up while we're talking. You can find those printouts on the Pyramid website, print them out, hang them up. You can use them as flashcards too. So if you're talking about a nonverbal child, they can you can just go through the cards and say, tell me how you're feeling, and they would pull that out. Or you have it hanging up somewhere. You can laminate it and hang it up where it's easy to get at and the child points to. Also, you have one of those erase boards, like the small ones, and they can draw the emotion that they're feeling. I'm gonna get that, what it looks like.
Bethanne, this month's newsletter has the Play-Doh feeling mats too, that if kids want to use Play-Doh. And also, I think mirrors are great ways of having the child look in the mirror and just modeling different emotions and trying to get them to imitate you, and then using the mirror for that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love the mirror too, because like you could be silly faces and that makes the kids laugh as well. And everyone's so quiet this month.
Oh, they're too hot, afraid to talk.
So I'm gonna share.
Allison, I think Allison wants to say
Well,
something.
no, I was just gonna share that. I know we're all experiencing behaviors and things like that. Maybe you could speak a little bit about once a child is in a spiral, is in a tantrum, or is in, do you have any strategies teachers might use to help bring them down and be able to describe, what they're feeling and how?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the feeling faces that I was just talking about, Vanessa, that you could print out and use for a nonverbal child. In those moments, we all, I think, we feel some stress because we don't know how to calm the child down. I always say depending on where you are, give the child a minute. Let them have their tantrum, let them have their meltdown, and give them a minute. Sometimes kids just need time to just let their emotions out. And then you get on eye level and get down on their level and just talk to them and be like, tell me what's wrong, what's going on, why are you upset? And make sure that you're always at eye level. Children can feel intimidated and feel that it's coming at a different direction of them if we're standing over them and saying, why are you crying? What's wrong with you? So more at an eye level, because they're feeling that connection with you. As long as it's a safe spot where they're just having their meltdown, let them have their minute. Let them just cry, let it out. And I'll say, okay, I'm going to give you a couple minutes. Let all your emotions out, give yourself some time, and then I'll be right back. And then we can talk. You can tell me what's going on. And then I always say, when we figure out what the problem is, and sometimes it's the craziest thing that someone may have taken the toy that they were playing with, or their drawing didn't come out right, all different reasons that we're like, well, how can we solve this problem? So one is, should we be sharing the toys? So we're bringing in that other child and figuring out some problem solving and some sharing situations. But I definitely think give the child a minute. Is it in the middle of circle time and you have 18 kids sitting there? That's a little bit harder to do when you're having that, having the moment, but just then maybe going over again at eye level and say, let's go for a walk. Let's take a time out of the classroom if you're able to stay in ratio, or if you're a parent and you're at home, go for a walk, get some fresh air, get out of that situation for the moment. I definitely believe that eye-to-eye contact is really, really important, because it's there's more of that connection there, and it's that your listening ears are open for the child as well. I'll be honest, I don't have the perfect remedy, as I understand a lot of you who are in early childhood centers now. We know the increase of children with behaviors has dramatically gone up. Do we have tools to help the class in the classroom? Yes, and I'm happy to share lots of tools that we have. And also at home, we have tons of tools, but it's all teaching children about their emotions and what they're frustrated about and why are they angry that they're having that meltdown. They lost a big chunk of time of being able to have that social emotional development, as a lot of these kids that we have in our programs now were home for 2 years. And so we have to rethink about how we're teaching them about social emotional development, and we really have to put it into everything that we're doing with young kids.
I have a question, Bethanne. Someone put in the chat the pictures that you just show us about the emotion faces. Where did you find them?
I'm going to put the link in the box right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I see a hand raised. Is that your question, Yanners? I don't know how to say her name correctly. You can unmute.
Yes. Hi, it's me, Janeris. That's how you pronounce it. How are you? This
Good.
is one of my favorite topics. When I saw this, I right away sign up because to me, emotion is so important because uh, if a child has some issues emotionally, nothing else you teach around them is going to work. They cannot pay attention to things that you're teaching or doing during the day.
Right.
But one thing that I do is that I show them my emotion too. I'm a human being and I also have emotion. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean, oh, my teacher never have any emotion. She's always happy. It's not. I show them, Miss Janery have emotion. And when I have emotion, I feel sad and I cry. My father passed away and I was a little bit sad even after the funeral, but they saw me kind of little sad and I cry sometimes and I say, Janery is so sad because I lost my father and he was so close to me. Just explain to them why you're sad.
Right. Yeah.
And that is normal. The same way when I'm happy, something excited happened to me, I share with them. Oh, I'm happy today because I explain to them. One thing that is good, like my setting, I'm a licensed child care provider with a small amount of children. And I learned about them because they with me since they're like 3 months old.
Yeah.
But then I learned so much about them and about their emotion. Like I have a child one day, he's 4.5. He came extremely sad and he never like that. He never so sad like that. But then right away, sometimes parents don't share with me what's going on out there and that's okay. I respect that. But then I also need to know because sometimes that interfere with the learning. That's I believe. But then he was very open and he said to me, I'm sad. And he was crying and crying and crying. And I said, what is going on? Can you tell me? And then he told me I cannot hug my mom. And I explained, oh, what's going on? Why you cannot give your mommy a hug? But then he was telling me all the story about her mom had breast cancer. She had to have a surgery. And then she cannot be having any, press contact with him and things like that. Not can even sleep with him. But then what I did was, okay, what do you want Miss Janeris to do to make you feel better, to make you feel a little bit better? Because I know it's really sad, but just what can Janeris do for you? Guess what he asked me to do?
A hug.
To give him yes. He wanted me to hug him, to give him a hug over and over and hold him the same way his mom used to do it. And it's kind of little, it's just good to have that relationship and find when the children have those emotions and address them right away and try to make, the day happy with positive spirits. In that way, they're not so, sad. But that is good. That's my comment.
That is a great comment. And you're right. As adults, we are role models on emotions. And you're right. You lost your dad. And so you're sad because you miss him. And that's being honest on what your emotions are. And Lisa, who I've been working, Swain, who was talking about the newsletter earlier, her and I talk about all the time when we're out doing trainings and talking about young children's development it's all about building relationships. If you have relationships with young children, they will come to you and they will talk to you. But if you're that person where you're kind of a cold shoulder to that one child, they're not going to come to you and they're going to, in some ways, I hate saying this word, but rebel a little bit because they don't feel that connection.
Yes.
Relationships are everything. It teaches them as they continue through life how relationships are built for them. We teach young children about their friendships. That's all about early childhood and preschool programs, how to be a good friend. That's all about social emotional development. Some people say, what? That's social emotional. It is how to be a good friend, how to share with your friends, how to have, and not just those relationships. We're peer models for young children. So say you're in a classroom and you have two teachers, they're not the biggest fans of each other. They just have to work together. Kids feel those emotions. So I always used to say, fake it till you make it, having those two good model relationships in front of them really helps them. And just as you were talking about the little boy, he knew that he could get that hug from you and that's all he wanted.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Yes,
Beautiful.
thank you, Lisa, for adding the link, because I appreciate that.
And I think to add to what the example that she gave about the boy, have a good communication, not only with your student, but as a parent. Because someone posted on Facebook or watching us that you also need a menu for a 12-year-old. So we are talking for the little ones. Emotion goes through any ages, right? You gave yourself example about the pie, and I think communication too, pass to the child that it's okay to share and not be embarrassed about how we feel. It's very important, like to give them, because a lot of kids, they hold it inside. Like it was great that the little boy, he was able to share with the teacher and tell her the story and express how he felt and why he was sad. But not every child will be able to do that.
Right.
So communication, I think, is the key of all too, because like you tell all the time to us, communication is a expression, of how we feel. So we have to always remember to, if you see that child that might not tell you something, I try with my kids, tell me how you feel, why you said, don't hold inside, explain to them, why, like friendship, how to be a good friend. It's a lot of emotion I think the kids go through in all different phases of their lives. And, make sure always we all communicate with our children or providers that it's the children in the class. I was curious to know, like, how many people are here that are providers and how many people are just parents. If you can put it in a chat, if you're a parent or provider, it would be great.
Young kids are very in tune with our emotions, so they know when there's something going on. I know that my son will say that my husband's grumpy, and I was like, oh, he is, and he knows. Like they're so in tune to body language and emotions. They're smarter than we think, and so when we're having an emotion, they're gonna feel it.
I think it's important too, what Janaris said, that she acknowledged the child's feelings instead of saying, oh, you'll be okay, it's all right. She acknowledged that the child, she asked, and when they said they were feeling bad or whatever, it's important for us to acknowledge that their feelings are valid. Acknowledge to them that we understand that if they feel upset, because the example you used before about knocking a blocks down or something like that, to us, it's no big deal, but to them in that moment, it's their whole world.
Everything.
It's everything. So as long as we acknowledge, I think that goes a long way into building that trust relationship with the child, with children, to acknowledge that, yeah, their feeling is valid. I know you do miss mommy. You're absolutely right. Or, so that they understand that we understand that those feelings matter.
Yeah. And Allison, I think it was you were asking, or I apologize if I don't remember the voice, but talking about in those moments of meltdowns, and so what do? You're also, when you're getting on their level and you're saying, I understand that you're very upset right now, but let's figure out a way how we can solve that. So you're acknowledging that there's something wrong. We're not just pushing it off and being like, all right, get up, come on, we gotta go. We're going outside, or it's time for snack. We're saying out loud, we know that something's bothering you, so just make sure you tell me what it is, because I want to help you problem solve. Such great conversations.
Yeah, we could talk.
And you know what, it doesn't matter how long we all have been working with young children, we as adults learn from each other. We all have tips of the trade. So I love when we finish sharing the PowerPoint and the topics that we're all like kind of talking about our own experiences, and I learned from you, and I hopefully you learned from me as well.
Anybody else would like to share, make a comment, tell a story? Don't be shy.
Hi, this is Janery again. One more time. I promise after this, I'm not going to talk anymore.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, really quick. I think I like to work as a team. When something like that happened, what I did was I had a conversation with the mom and let her know how sad he was that day. The same way I share when he's happy and why he was happy, I share with her. And then after a couple days, things change. And then she was able to give him the hug and love, that she used to give it to him all the time. But definitely having conversation with parents also is very important, because as a team, everything can be better, I believe.
Thank you for sharing that, because I was just gonna ask that, in that situation, I would definitely share with the parents and, found a way, how can we make this child feel better? If she can't really hug him the way she used to, can hug in a different way, maybe to, an aside or something. So thank you for sharing, because I was just gonna say that, like, we have to receive the information as a professional and also be a teamwork with the family.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I always say too, like, we could have thousands of books that we can read. Like, here's a book that someone recently gave to me, the book of overthinking. I overthink everything. We could try to read thousands of books to try to help us figure out a child's brain and their emotions and why do they do things. We learn together with them and we grow together with them. And so as adults, we are that mentor on how, and we're guiding them to the right path. We know that these children are going to kindergarten eventually. And so we want to make sure that they're going with good social emotional development. Not every child needs to know their ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s. They need to know that they can sit in a circle time for up to 15 minutes. They can be with their peers. They can problem solve. Those are what we're getting young children ready for. So, and it starts as early as birth is what we start with social emotional development. We don't think that, but we do. And that connection with infants is also how we start that. So infants and beyond. And remember, like, as kids get older, I remember when I was in preschool or I was in daycare and, Miss Allison was my teacher and she was saying, and I'll go back and visit. So we make an impact in young children's lives. Some days we go home and we don't feel like we did, but we really do.
Absolutely. I told another panel the other day with future teachers. And as a mom, I said to them, on a daily basis, because I was a teacher too, we don't think about that because we're busy. We are busy in the classroom. I see a lot of people who look like they are work with kids in daycares or facilities. We have to I always try to remind myself, we can change that child's life for a long, long time. A word that we say or action like that she shared about the boy, that boy will remember that hug for many, many years, if not forever, depending how old they are. Because I remember things that happened to me in preschool and kindergarten to today. And I told the teachers, just remember whatever you say or do to those children in a busy day, you can change the child's life forever, for good or for bad, for the positive or negative. So I think that's super important to keep in mind too, because sometimes on a daily basis, just thinking, we're going through your day, not only in the classroom, but as a parent too. I catch myself a lot of times like, wow, I did it different, because now, wow, I should pay attention. I should said that, it's a constantly remind ourselves that they will remember everything.
Yeah. And not look at the want ads. There's a great, Lisa knows that there's a great slide that we do in the pyramid training. Like, what's your, oh gosh, I'm like trying to think now, like not your trigger, but
your hot button.
Oh yeah, your hot button. Like, yeah. And so like one of the answers is there is the local grocery store hiring, so those hot buttons of times where we know that kids may trigger us as adults. So we're all doing a great job. It's not easy. And especially we think about the time that we're in now, and we're really trying to build children to be ready for kindergarten, be ready for relationships and being around their peers and learning and growing. It's so true. Lisa, do you want to add anything? She's a very wise one, Lisa.
I enjoyed the conversation so much, and I agree with Vanessa that everyone on this call, you're doing so much to impact the lives of children, and just building those relationships. I'm feeling really thankful right now hearing all of you. So thank you.
Yeah, this is why I love
Thanks,
doing this every
Bethanne.
month. Oh,
Bethanne, you're so awesome. Thank you for doing this.
yeah. It's my
And-
favorite time of the month.
Yes, and just to remind everybody, next month on August 9th will be our next backpack series. So
And the
we'll be
topic
back here.
is getting attention.
Getting attention is going to be the topic.
Yep.
So it's August 9th for everyone that's here. We will advertise on social media everywhere, but August 9th, put in your calendar the same time, 12:30, we'll be here.
Okay, and also, we really want your feedback, and so I put a link to the evaluation in the chat box. It's a really quick evaluation. We want to know how we're doing, and if there's any changes that we need to make. Your opinion means a lot to us. And even better, like, we just are so, can I just tell you, like, the first time we started doing this, Vanessa, we probably had 5 people on, and now, like, we're ranging between 25 and 40 a month. So we appreciate that.
Amy, I just have a question for Amy. She put her email there.
Oh, yeah,
What would you?
I'll send it to Lisa. Thank you.
I already got it, and I already got all the emails, and I'm sending them all the resources.
Oh, great, thank you.
Mhm. Thanks so much.
If anybody needs the PowerPoint, just raise your hand so I can write your name. We can share the PowerPoint as well if you need it. Allison, I'll send it to you, Allison. Anybody else? Cassandra.
Oh, Janaris, I wanted to. Thank you.
So have a great day, everyone. Stay cool. Like, yesterday was like nice. Today it's like muggy again. I can deal with hot, just not muggy.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope we see you guys August 9th.
Of course.
Thank
Take
you so
care.
much. See you
All
in
right, have a
August.
great day,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Here.
Thank to you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Be good. Bye.
Thank you.